Oh, hi. Didn't see you there. Welcome to the Unholy Triad podcast. I'm Robert.
I'm Justin.
I'm George.
And today we have a special guest, Orion.
What's up, suckers?
Awesome. And we will be talking about psychedelics.
Hell yeah.
Crazy topic.
Oh yeah, love me some psychedelics.
One of my favorites.
Not legal.
Yet.
Some are.
It's getting decriminalized, though.
Should they?
Well, aren't all our favorite things not legal? You're my favorite thing.
Gay sex is legal.
Thank goodness for that.
In the first 40 seconds.
What?
All right, Ryan. Well, thank you for joining us, firstly.
We're honored.
Yes.
We know your schedule is tight. We try to book you for weeks, so thank you for coming down.
I didn't have a choice. It's the only way to get these handcuffs off.
Oh, so tell me this. Your personal favorite psychedelic?
I think shrooms are pretty cool. I used to like acid a lot, but I haven't been able to get a hold of that for a while. So it's going to be shrooms for right now.
Because the winter seasons.
Yeah, it's seasonal, you know.
slows
It only
down.
grows in the
Slows
summer.
down.
The acid trees just can't live in the environment right now.
Yeah.
Well, and a bad tab can give you a bad brain. That's what my grandpa always says.
Oh, yeah? Well, if it's bitter, it's a spitter.
Really?
That's the strat.
Ah.
It's bitter. It's
So if it's like taste bitter, you don't swallow.
Yeah.
Spit that shit out.
That's why a lot of people prefer mushrooms, is because, you know,
Well,
natural from the earth.
can mushrooms like kill you?
No.
Malda? No.
I don't think anybody has ever died directly from a psychedelic. It's just those research chemicals they put in some acid blotters sometimes, which is why, you know, if it's bitter, it's bitter, because those taste bad.
Okay.
But you do need to test your tabs, you know. You can buy those little Elric reagents online. They're not too expensive. It's always wise to test your drugs, because who knows what you're getting.
Right. And what's the address of your drug dealer?
something Negra Arroyo Drive.
I don't know. We just meet at a sandwich shop. It's, you know,
I love Subway.
dealing out of a Subway.
So
Eat fresh though, for real.
yeah, you do. And that guy lost a lot of weight.
Oh, yeah?
He was doing other stuff on the side, helping lose weight, but so
Yeah, man.
best. Okay, well, I'll let you decide. I'll give you two options here. Tell us about your worst or best trip.
I haven't had any really bad ones. I think the most chaotic one was I took 3 tabs and then we went to a park and subsequently had my entire grade just fucking show up there to do like a party, I guess,
Okay.
just around us, and then simultaneously a bachelorette party showed up on a tour bus, and
Damn.
we were just surrounded by people in a matter of minutes, and it was pretty crazy. I just kind of sat on the ground and was confused. One of my buddies got a bunch of bug bites all over his like face and eyes, so he it was more worse for him than it was for me. I had a pretty good time, honestly. I've never had a bad time.
Damn. I have bug bites in my forehead right now, for those who can't see me, because I went to a mountain.
We're mountain men.
Or mountain man.
You can call us survivalists, like
Yeah.
Bear Grylls.
Bear Grylls, I love him.
I actually woke up this morning.
Oh,
kinda
Bear
troubled.
Grylls.
Yeah.
There's a Bear Grylls. I was like, I don't know what that is.
Dude, he shoved the enema up his butt, didn't he?
Drank his own urine.
Yeah.
Fucking crawled inside of a dead camel carcass.
That dude's a legend.
I love that episode. I don't think it really helped me, because like, right, if you're in the middle of a sandstorm, have a camel. And once you have a camel, fucking gut it.
How do you
and
think-
then get inside.
How do you think Bear Grylls does it? He just goes up, he just sees a dead animal, and he's like to his producers, I'm gonna fucking go inside
Yeah.
of it. He's like, no, we have this camp for you. We have it all set up. No, I'm gonna fucking go
Yeah.
dig up.
He's like, all right, so He's like, all right, so Bear Grylls, for this episode, just say cover your eyes, find shelter at a nearby rock place. Nah, mate, get me a dead fucking camel. I'm gonna fucking crawl up and make a home there.
You guys see that episode where he got attacked by a little desert man in a cave?
No.
You
You got attacked by a desert person?
I don't know. I didn't see it.
Oh.
Oh, no.
I think so, though.
You heard it down the grapevine.
I saw a little bit. Saw a little bit.
I love when he takes celebrities up there. Have you guys seen those episodes?
Like Kevin Hart and shit.
Obama?
Those are good ones.
Yeah, he took Obama.
Obama.
Obama's a real survival man.
Obama's pretty witty, too, I can tell. He has a humor to him. He can be like... He can crack a few jokes. Like, damn, Obama. Okay, I see you, Barack. So, and also for those on the podcast, we know our guest star is an avid drug user.
Hey.
We do...
Whoa.
We do have someone else I think is somewhat veteran. Robert, what psychedelics have you done?
Acid, mushrooms, and salvia.
Salvia's pretty cool.
Damn.
Yeah. Just the leaf though, not the extract.
And out of those three, which one was superb?
I think I like mushrooms the best, especially if you're camping.
Nature.
But I think the most powerful experience I've had was on I just said it.
Salvia.
Salvia, thank you. Yeah.
So was that powerful experience too much to handle? Or was it a really good trip?
It was a good trip. I just felt like these weird, like I was sitting on a log and I felt like a weird, like gravitational pull, like pulling me back, and I almost fell off the log.
Which it was just backwards.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's always to the left.
Interesting.
I got spiraled down to the left. I always thought salvia was really cool, but I've never done enough to like become an object or unzip the world or anything like that. It can get pretty intense and uncomfortable if you do a little too much, because I've only done the extract, but it's cool. Did you ever meet those two salvia people?
No.
The man and the woman?
Unfortunately not, no.
Every time I've smoked it, I have communicated with a kind man and a stern woman who has like taken me through this crazy DMT-esque realm of fractals and orchestral singing and dancing and stuff like that. It was quite fantastic, honestly.
Is that a common trip? Like several people see that?
I have
Stern
heard-
woman, happy man?
I have heard of other people encountering these two entities or figures or whatever you want to call them. They're just like, I guess, guiding figures, because salvia is really intense and it can be a little bit much, especially if you don't know what to expect.
Huh.
It's definitely not as welcoming to you as like DMT is. DMT is much more pleasant, even though it's quite intense. That stuff is fun though.
Yeah. That one doesn't have a guardian or any sort?
Well, if you do enough to like break through, as they call it, which is kind of reminiscent of blasting off on a rocket into 4D or 5D space, you can meet certain people. Like a lot of people who do that regularly have like loved ones and friends within the DMT realm that they go and talk to and hang out with before they come back to Earth, which is why a lot of people that smoke it think that that might be like some kind of alternate reality that you can like get beamed into, because they theorize that DMT gets released in the brain when you die, which I don't know 100% whether or not that's true, because I'm no neuroscientist, but if it is true, then maybe it's possible. We don't know much about the afterlife.
No. That's fucking wild. I did not know any of this shit.
Oh, yeah?
If you could go to a other dimension, like Spider-Verse kind of shit, what dimension would you visit? Like where something's different? I asked Robert the question the other day, and his was pretty good. Well, it might not turn out good for him, but he wanted to go to a dimension where it was only women.
This snoo, the Amazon?
Like Amazons, yeah.
Death by
But
snooze
that
thing.
could, I think that can go right for you in some ways, but also I think it can go wrong. Because like, what is this? And they just chop it off you. I don't know.
As long as they're, as long as it's modern enough to be civilized, then
True. Because if not, you'd be a celebrity.
yeah.
They would be like, breaking news. Another one. A different kind of being is here.
I want to just go to a dimension where like humans weren't so inclined towards religion and things like that, because I'd like to see where technology could go to without that.
World where religion never existed.
Yeah,
Man.
not to talk bad on religion or anything like that, but its impacts on the world of science are unquestionable, and I think it would be pretty cool to see where we would be without all of that.
And it's-
because science would be all we would have to believe in.
And
So we
also-
would be much more advanced, I think.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, like figures, like atheist figures like Ricky Gervais really argue that it keeps shit back. And also, I mean, I think sometimes it has been the sole reason. Not every war has been caused by religion, but it certainly helped, at least in early history, that if you just said God was on your side, definitely convinced people more to chop off a Muslim's head.
Yeah, I mean that's still happening,
That's I mean, still very much it's still used as a persuasion tool to just, God and country.
Yeah, I mean the violent side of it is a bummer, but there is a lot to be said about the passion and joy these people get out of it. I'm not
True.
as passionate about anything as they are about God and whatnot.
True.
It's kind of cool, honestly.
Not even, but I mean, it does make you think with like what you're saying, like DMT and shit. Like there's what is out there though.
I mean, there's many schools of thought on what reality is, and like, because perception is pretty complex, and it's also pretty subjective, and so you kind of have to ask yourself, whether or not you're perceiving the same things as somebody else, and whether or not you're perceiving the same things as other animals, other living things, because that's what reality is to us, is just what we can perceive. So when you take something like DMT and you can perceive more, that is what reality is in that moment. So what's to say it isn't real,
I thought you guys were gonna say, imagine the Crusades with DMT. That'd be sick.
Oh, dude.
That'd be nice.
Everyone else would just be like, they would be fighting, just be naked, run around in circles.
The berserkers back in the day when they would
Shrooms?
fight,
Was it shrooms?
it's a type of shroom. It's called Amanita muscaria. These are the red ones.
One more time
with
for the audience.
Amanita muscaria.
Okay.
They're these red
scary.
caps with white, like nodules on them, I guess you could say.
Oh, I've seen those.
Yeah, they're like the stereotypical mushroom. They're pretty liver toxic, but you can actually buy them online. They're legal. So are Amanita pantherina, which are also pretty interesting. But the muscaria is pretty cool. They would drink tea with it to, I don't know if it was a tea or some kind of a soup, something like that. It would make a big ass cauldron of it. And then basically, I guess it must blunt pain or something. It makes you feel like God. I've never done that, but yeah, they used to just slaughter everybody with that easily.
Yeah. And what's cool about those fucking berserkers, and I think some people still experience it today, but like the berserker rage, where if you can get yourself angry enough, you just black out and you become a murder machine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You don't even remember the battle. They're like, what happened? They're like, dude, you killed like 20 people.
Yeah, it was a little bit like that.
There was this one guy who, it's like legendary, and it's this tale survived for like thousands of years. This is like early kings of England. This was with William the Conqueror, okay, but so like before that there was this king, his name escapes me, probably an King Edward of sorts, and apparently during his time he didn't have an heir to his throne, probably because problems with like himself or his like wife or whatever. And so when he traveled around Europe, he went to like Scandinavia and had like this Viking ruler and stuff, and he met up with him. and he was like, you know what, you can be king when I pass because you're really sick. And that guy was like, cool. And then he also went to Normandy, and then he hung out with that king of Normandy, and then he said to that guy's bastard, who was William the Conqueror, said, hey, you're pretty sick. You want to be king of England when I die? And they're like, hell yeah. And then when he died, a nobleman thought he could just take it, so he took it. So anyway, it became a battle of 3 kings, basically. The English one, the Scandinavian Viking one, and then the Norman one. And we know who won, the Normans. But they all invaded, and the Vikings, I'm dying from allergies, bro. I need a fucking Kleenex. And the Vikings, they landed in the northern part of England, and the English army, Anglo-Saxon army, met them. And apparently there was a bridge, and the Vikings weren't ready for battle or something. And a guy held the bridge for apparently fucking like 18 minutes. One guy, a berserker. And he apparently chopped down fucking several men. And he just held this bridge. And he was probably on those fucking shrooms we were talking about.
Maybe.
But he did die. He didn't live, but he held the fucking bridge.
Yeah, I mean, one of the rules of battle is that numbers don't matter if you can get them into an enclosed or small space. You know, if there's a funnel, it doesn't matter how many people they have. You know, because it's still going to be 1 or 2 at a time.
I want to say that might have been Hastings. No, that was Battle of Hastings. I'll look it up. I'll tell you more.
All right, I got a question for you guys.
Give it to me.
You guys hear how like modern like army people are talking about like their confirmed kills and shit? You think that's made up?
Some of the kids, so like,
Because some people brag about like killing 100+ people.
oh, true.
I think it's pretty hard to confirm them, but I think most of them, I don't know. You can usually tell whether or not they're a little bit, you know,
Why?
too proud of that or not, because if they are, they could very well be exaggerating. But
Does the military really? Doesn't it try to like keep track of that for you? Don't they help you?
yeah, I mean, a lot of those people that rack up huge numbers are snipers, and they have spotters. You can tell pretty easily whether or not somebody's been turned into mist by a 50 BMG or not.
No, I think snipers would have the easiest time tracking their kills. But a guy with like a,
Yeah.
who knows?
I assume they
Sometimes
go
there's
in.
nothing left to find a body or anything, you know.
I assume they go in afterwards and like count.
Like
and
how many
people can be like,
fingernails are on the ground?
That was my guy. I killed that guy. But you know, if they raise it with like a fucking AC-130 or something like that, then
Yeah.
But it's
nobody
funny
knows.
when you drop bombs or shit. They don't keep track your kills then, right?
you probably don't.
Or did
want
he let
to.
them know? Did he let them know like you just killed 15K?
No, they just probably keep it.
Good job, bro.
I think most people would probably not want to hear about that, especially if you're just a pilot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of actually a guy with a gun.
All right, this leads up to my next question. Would it be easier to get kills now, like gun to gun, or back then, just like sword against a sword?
Oh.
I think you'd need a lot. I don't know if it would be more skill or just different skill, because I know that like swordsmen train for a very long time, but also our military trains people for a very long time as well. It's definitely a lot easier to kill with guns, but it's a lot easier to get killed with guns as well.
Yeah, because, like, back then, being a 6-foot jacked dude, you know, with a fucking warhammer, whatever you had to destroy knight's armor, was really advantageous. But nowadays, that helps if you're athletic and tall and stuff, but you could be a fucking 9-year-old with a fucking pistol. You can kill a man that big.
Yeah, I would say.
So I
that
think
the-
it's 2 different ecosystems, basically.
Yeah, I think that the average person in each time frame would probably like the average swordsman would get a lot fewer kills than the average gunman. But when we're talking elite levels, when everything's close quarters back then, you might even be able to get more with the sword or whatever weapon you were using.
But I mean, I'll tell you this: I would rather be in a gunfight. Now, of course, probably some people who've actually been in the military would fucking laugh at me, but I would rather be in the gunfight in like the Middle East or somewhere or wherever war is than being in the vanguard of an army back in the day with a pike and just fucking. I mean, have you seen those guys? Their job is to hold down a spear, sit down, and then a army of horses charges at you. Fuck that.
Yeah,
bro.
getting put in the front
Shoot me.
line is a fat L for sure.
Could you imagine?
But I think I honestly would be preferential towards being like on one of those on foot hand-to-hand combat scenarios, because
Think you'd survive?
I don't know if I would
chance.
probably survive neither, but I think that there would be like more of a focus on like adrenaline and concentration, and like you might be able to actually do things. But if you're just being shot at, you often can't tell where you're being shot at from, at least at first. Like, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
It's you can get ambushed really easily versus you're on a big old battlefield, you know, you're just with all your homies duking it out. I mean, you can at least see all of the enemies and where they're coming from. With guns, they could be anywhere. They could shoot you through a wall, you know?
True. Fucking false tile bomb. I wonder if you get like, I mean, it probably is, but if you get like enough adrenaline pumping, could that be like a psychedelic? I know people say that like time slows down, right? Or speeds up or something. I don't know.
I think it might be kind of similar to some psychedelics, like what I was talking about before, Amanita Pantherina, which is an interesting one. It that one kind of makes you see the world through a bit of a like yellowed fisheye lens, and where some psychedelics give you thought loops, depending on who you are and how you react to them, these give you action loops. So you can actually get stuck doing the same thing over and over and over, which is why they're a little bit dangerous, because if the thing you're doing is harmful to yourself, then you're gonna like... I once read a story of a man he got stuck in an action loop of jumping down off of something high onto some rocks, and he just kept conking himself over and over, and luckily he was okay, but it can... Those are, the Amanita varieties are not something you really want to mess with unless you're, you know, set on it, and then have a sitter.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy. So doing an actual task.
Yeah, so like
you can microwave something fucking 50 times in a row.
Like, yeah, dropping things over and over, opening doors over and over. You cannot do that shit in public because it will be so obvious that you are losing your mind. But I think it does make you feel a little bit like God, so that's a feeling some people really enjoy.
How do you want to feel when you're on a psychedelic?
I want to feel at peace, which is pretty much how I always am. I've had a lot of friends get into thought loops and get very confused and lose touch with reality, but for me, things fit into place. It's like everything is sort of out of order, and then when I take the dose, once it hits, everything lines up correctly. So I can just enjoy being in the moment. I don't have to think existentially unless I want to, and if I do, it's not an uncomfortable situation to be in, because like I said, I have the cognizance to get through it. And I've never panicked or had a bad trip or anything like that, because I don't feel the need to be in control, but I understand how to direct things.
Right.
I think that's something that most people don't really understand, is that it's fucking birds.
Yeah, we're outside right now, sorry.
A lot of people think that you just have to completely relinquish control, but that's only in one sense. You should have a little bit of control, but it's not control over the experience and over yourself. It's control over, you know, what is happening, who you are, some of your thoughts at least. You can, at the very least, without, you know, having a bad trip or panicking. But a lot of people try to, for them, control is trying to direct the trip more strongly, I suppose. It's hard to put into words, because I don't really experience that, but yeah, it's you know, controlling a force that cannot be controlled versus directing it. It's like trying to build a dam for a giant stream versus, you know, making a different pathway for it. You can make whatever pathway you want and put yourself on a pathway that feels good, you know, and you can do that in sober life as well, because at the end of the day, you never really have control over much.
Wow.
Dude, you're like a fucking drug guru. I love it. Holy shit. You really are an expert on the topic.
You're
Damn.
like, you can live a sober life, but do you want this, man?
It's like putting a dam in the ocean. You're like, fuck.
I am a mushroom philosopher.
Dude, do you know how they make
So
mushrooms, George?
philosophical. How do you make them?
Yeah.
Do you grow them?
Well, yeah. Do you know how they grow them?
No.
It's quite
Tell me.
interesting.
Is it off dead shit?
There's lots of different ways to do it,
Yeah.
actually. It's pretty cool.
They just get like toilet paper and shit, and they just put it.
Really?
I don't know. I've heard many different ways.
So,
I imagine it wants like something that's degradable first, and then like wet, right?
Yeah.
That's probably the prime thing for a mushroom.
So basically, you get some like, I can't remember exactly what it's called. It's called like coif or something like that.
I've
It's
heard
like
of
this I don't think that's how it's pronounced at all. But
When a woman farts out her front.
right, you get a little bit of that, and you mix it with the husk of like a coconut, I believe. That sort of fibrous substance. It doesn't have
Okay.
to be from a coconut, but just those types of fibers, and also some sort of fertilizer-esque shit. I don't know exactly what it is. You'd have to look it up. And then you pretty much mix all that up, and you can put it into a little tote and plant your spores in there. You can get spores for very cheap online, and it's not illegal.
The spores aren't legal, but the shrooms are?
Yeah, in most states, the shrooms are illegal to possess and take. In some places, it's been decriminalized, so you can possess them, but they don't really want you to be like on them in public, I don't think.
Right.
But it's really not that hard to grow them. It's just there's a lot of steps.
That is my question with, where it's like, where marijuana is like legal and stuff. You can't be stoned in public, surely.
Sure you can. I mean, we have
Because just like alcohol's legal, but you can know public intoxication.
most people can't tell. I mean, you can't smoke openly, but you're not even supposed to do that in California, but people still do. Like, no, it's really a question of enforcing more than legality.
No, that's true. People are doing it. Fucking, I think it was Newport Beach, dude.
Newport.
Dude, and if
You
you're not
just-
being a fucking total jackass, just,
Yeah, I mean,
doing
we
dumb
have
shit.
medical in Utah.
Yes. There's some unholy triad lore where we now live in the state.
State's alright.
Come find us.
Triangulated.
But Seattle's fucked, bro. They just Oregon. They
Yeah,
just-
Portland is a crack town now because they decriminalized all the drugs, but they didn't bother to give anybody mental health services or rehab services, so it's just a crack town now. Because you cannot
fuck.
decriminalize drugs without giving people the opportunity to use them safely and get off of them. And there is absolutely zero real drug education in this country. Like the shit that I was taught in health class, the reason why I started trying drugs was because I went and read the actual studies that they were referencing, and it was directly contradicting everything they were saying about the drugs. So I was like, they gave all these horror stories, and none of it was real. Why shouldn't I try it?
Right.
You guys know about the Farm Bill, though? The 2018 Farm Bill?
Nah.
Best thing Trump ever did was make weed legal to be shipped to your door in all 50 states, baby. It's awesome.
Really?
Yeah. You can, a lot of it are those strange derivatives. It's all hemp derived, but anything has to be like under 0.3% delta 9 THC content, which is like the normal cannabinoid that gets you the highest compared to everything else. It's in like normal bud and weed and whatnot. But when it comes to edibles and things, the gram weight is dense enough so that you can have very normal doses shipped straight to your door for very affordable prices. So, for all intents and purposes, weed is legal in the United States. It's just not a lot of people take advantage of this. But it is coming up for review soon, so that may be made illegal soon.
Interesting.
It's a very lucrative market, though. There's been a lot of those alternate cannabinoid companies that came out since then, and they make unbelievable amounts of money so easily. You don't even have to do that much. Like it's a pretty foolproof business, honestly.
I wonder what Biden thinks of marijuana.
Biden's probably smoked hella.
Yeah, he probably fucking like Snoop.
I could see Biden chiefing it up on the presidential plane.
All right, we should have said this disclaimer: use drugs at your own risk, guys.
Oh yeah.
Don't use drugs,
Don't try drugs
but if
at
you
home.
do, don't instead.
Yeah.
Eat
Say no
Eat
to
some
drug and
Cheez-Its
sex.
instead. Yeah, but Biden probably just goes back.
But if you have to choose between premarital sex and drugs, choose drugs.
Yes.
You gotta keep your body pure in at least one way. All right.
Yeah.
Jesus is watching. He's always watching.
Please don't do both. Jesus Christ.
Inshallah, your body is a temple.
Yes. Keep peace in the Middle East.
Yes, Queen.
Absolutely.
Well, let's get peace there first. Get peace in the Middle East.
Yeah.
We don't give a fuck anymore.
I thought what? The Middle East?
I feel like we just don't. Just left.
Yeah, everybody got all the media is kind of over it now, even though it's just as bad as it's always been in many ways.
It's worse.
Is
I
it?
feel like almost. With the Taliban taking over, yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's true. You get a bloody nose.
Hey, bloody nose?
Yes, sir. Face is exploding.
I'm dying. Oh, having fucking
Use your
napkins.
old shirt.
What?
Use
Your
your
other
socks.
Use
Oh.
what?
Your
bag.
old shirt that you had. I presume you took two.
I took it home.
Use your socks. That's the strat.
All right.
His dogs are out. He doesn't have socks.
I have
My
flops
good
on.
friend is dying because he snorted so much fucking crystal.
Yeah, it's not
Coke.
psychedelic dose. We can't talk about it.
And get pretty psychedelic once you enter, psychosis, which many meth users do.
Forgive me. I'll be right back. I'm going to investigate for something.
Go investigate 9/11.
Okay. Thanks, man.
All right. Now that we have George out of here, we'll be fine.
What has happened?
Hold on, we're discovering something right now.
There's a fucking bird in here.
Are you serious?
Hang on.
Dead serious.
Dead bird alert. Are we? It's not the time.
It's a fucking
baby bird that's alive.
Is it alive?
It's a baby bird in the bag. It says the parents still like it, so don't touch it. No.
No, but... Oh my lord, we've just made a discovery. Breaking news.
It's
There's a baby bird.
a baby swallow in a bag. I saw that bag and I thought I could use it to wipe my nose. but
That's
it's
really
someone's
cute.
Home. Holy shit! I thought I was on psychedelics there. I was like, "There's a fucking bird in that bag."
Just hanging out in there. You guys ever wake up tripping? Does that ever happen to you? Because I think that's how you dream. I don't think we know for sure because there's still a lot to learn about the brain, but they think, and by they I mean some neuroscientists think that DMT is like produced in the brain while you sleep, and that's why you have these crazy dreams. But this morning when I woke up, I had like fractal visuals.
Dang.
Yeah, I was like closing my eyes and just watching all these prismatic shapes curving around. It was pretty interesting. It doesn't happen too often, but I think if you're like in a half asleep state and you really tune into your perception, you can notice that things get really trippy.
Nah, that hasn't happened to me yet.
Yeah?
I just wake up from my dream and I'm like, damn it, bro. I don't remember it.
Maybe I'm just a wacky individual.
No, but I do have some wacky dreams sometimes, and then I wake up and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah?
Have you guys ever had, or Orion, have you ever had sleep paralysis?
I have not. I'm glad that I haven't, because that would be very disturbing to me, I think.
It sucks. Just out of nowhere, you're just all stiff and stuff. But you're still awake. You're all like lucid and shit. It's not a good time.
Yeah, I've never really had a lucid dream at all, anything like that. I didn't even dream for a very long time.
Yeah, I was shocked to hear that people don't dream sometimes, and then I've experienced it. Either that, or I just forget about my dreams.
All right, I'm back.
Hey,
All right, we're talking about sleep paralysis.
I'm not dreaming.
Oh,
Dreaming, like if you ever woken up from a certain tripping.
I am glad I have never suffered from sleep paralysis. Did you share your story, Robert?
I don't know.
Do it again. Yeah, I've made you share the story so many times, but it freaks me out. I like it.
I only had sleep paralysis once. It was freaky though. I just woke up, you know, as Justin said, you're just like super stiff and you can't move. But I saw a demon, and it was not good.
Oh, you know what? We shared this on the Cryptids podcast.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
It's gonna be a running joke.
Running Joe.
Robert, do it again.
Do it again. That's right. I was trying to remember if we mentioned it, but yeah, that was scary. Ryan, you've never done it? Never experienced paralysis? Sleep paralysis?
No, the only weird dreaming thing that happens is it sounds crazy, sounds like some hippie shit, but I do have premonitions every now and then. I
You're
will.
psychic.
I am a psychic. Yes, indeed. I will read your palm for $1.
Interesting.
But yeah, it's happened several times through my life, and it's happened a couple times to some other people I know, where I'll have this dream, and when I wake up from it, it'll be so striking to me, just because of how real it was, but also how not unusual it was. It was just grounded, and I'll remember it. Something about it will strike within my mind, and I'll remember it in great detail. And then later on in life, I'll start to have this strange moment where I'm like recognizing things. It's not the same as deja vu though, because deja vu is pretty easily explainable just by our own, flawed sensory perception abilities. But I will remember having the dream, waking up from the dream, and recounting it in my own head. And then as that's happening, it will be playing out in real life, and I'll be able to predict accurately exactly what is going to happen. And it's been like minutes in advance where I've been able to know exactly what was going to happen, what people were going to say, how they were going to act and react. It doesn't happen often, but I'd really like to figure out what causes that. That's another reason why I think that perhaps time and reality are not as linear and simple as we seem to think they are, because I don't know, if that can happen to me, it can happen to other people, and that implies that perhaps time is not so linear.
What if it's a circle?
I don't know if it's a circle, but
It's a square.
Yeah, what if it's a
maybe
square?
there's different timelines you can tap into when you dream, and certain ones are realistic but offset in time. I don't know. I think it's honestly beyond the comprehension that we have, at least at the moment, with the technology and understandings of the world we have. Science still has a long way to go with understanding reality. It's all theoretical physics still, and most of that is some straight up nonsense.
I didn't even think about that. What if dreams are just peeks into different dimensions? What other yous are experiencing? Oh, that's fucky.
I think many of them probably aren't,
Okay.
but
Tell me there's a dream where you're a drug lord.
You dreamt about me being a drug lord?
Yeah.
What was my name?
I don't fucking know.
Oh.
Jorge?
Oh, okay. Oh, wow, I was a Mexican drug lord. That's cool. That's a real dope reality.
Yeah. and
I think
were
you could do
beating
pretty
a-
well in the cartel.
Apparently
they'd
I do.
They'd get scared of you, bro.
Dude, if that is so, there are some. If there in the other dimensions, there are some fucked up entities where I've met in my nightmares that exist.
I think a lot of them are because sometimes it's very obviously a direct reflection of the experiences you've had in life up to that dream, right?
Yeah.
Like of stress or something you were doing. Like one of my buddies, whenever he spends a lot of time doing something, that will just be inserted in his dream. Like just because he's been playing God of War Ragnarok doesn't mean in a different reality he's in the world of God of War, you know. But
That's a good
he still
point.
dreams that.
That's how I feel like is what if you watch something scary, you know.
But also,
True.
like sensationally, the feelings you get within your head are very different in those dreams, where it does play out in real life later, and like the feelings you get after you wake up are very different as well. Like, I don't know. There's something about like different cognitive states, I think, just unconsciousness in general, because when you smoke DMT, you do become unconscious for all intents and purposes. Like, you can't move or anything. You pretty much pass out, and then you have that crazy experience.
And just so there's no confusion, this is fucking Joe Rogan feel, right?
This is mega Joe Rogan energy right now.
What he chats about a lot.
This is what he's notorious for. I don't follow him too much, but I don't think he actually talks about it that often.
No, I'm not an avid watcher. I've seen clips.
He definitely used to, though.
Is he still? No, he doesn't MMA still. He just announces it, right? Or
He's a pretty
he's
good
a
commentator.
Commentator, that's the word I'm
Yeah, I
looking
like
for.
MMA is pretty fun to watch. It's brutal though.
Dude, yeah.
Have you guys seen the MMA clips back in like maybe the 2000s?
Like at the
No.
at the start when they didn't have any
Yeah.
rules in the UFC.
Yeah, there's this
Really?
notorious clip of this big dude, and then just this other dude, and they're fighting. It's the smaller dude's just fucking elbowing him in the fucking skull, dude, like nonstop. It's pretty brutal.
Have you guys seen the one where I can't remember what their names are at all, but there's one of those early fights where, you know, obviously they didn't have any rules, and so one of the guys is on the ground and they're like clinched up together. He's got like half guard or something. The other guy's on top of him, just absolutely laying into his nuts over and over and over, like over 20 hits, I think, directly to the sack, and that guy just tanked it. I don't think
Yeah.
he won, but you know, I'm pretty sure.
shocked if he did.
I'm pretty sure he like got arrested for sexual assault or something later, so it's okay, you know.
Cup or no cup? What are you thinking? I'd probably say he had a cup on
He
him.
definitely had a cup.
If
would've
not,
been puking.
he would have. I'm pretty sure. If you
I
take
don't. I
that-
honestly don't know if they had cups back then,
If
but
you
even
take-
with a cup, that would be
If
brutal.
you take that consecutively, don't you like pass out? I feel like that the pain would just be too much.
Some
You'd
people,
pass out.
some people can take a nut shot more, you know, easily than others. Not many, but I don't know. The adrenaline of fighting definitely takes away a lot of pain. Like most of the fighters in that octagon don't feel the things that are happening. That's why they go down swinging, you know, because you don't even know that you've been rocked if you get hit in the head really hard. You just know it's time to fight. They wake up swinging too.
Yeah.
It's the adrenaline is crazy.
Yeah, with like a lot of martial artists, there's just like I've seen clips of some dude just kicking your nuts over and over, and you're just you're just hanging on. You just gotta breathe in.
Yeah.
I mean, they do a lot of pain conditioning too.
I think it's good to ban ball beating, but I also another thing that they banned. My dad was always very. I don't know if he like experienced it or saw it happen to someone, but like get hit in the back of the head. He was always very told me to not fall in the back of your head, or if you're fighting with someone, don't punch the back of the head. Something about that also. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
something about that could cause permanent brain damage.
Yeah, well, it's because the connection between your, brainstem and your brain is so close to the base of the skull right there that you can easily paralyze people, give them permanent brain injuries, and that's why there's plenty of fighters in the UFC that try to take advantage of those back of the head hits. John Jones is definitely a big one. Some people might disagree, but you see those spinning elbows, and that's where he's trying to land it. He's trying to fucking make you a quadriplegic, because he doesn't care whether you're alive or dead. He cares whether or not he took the dub, and he takes dubs. He'll cripple you. He tries his hardest.
Of course, the infamous Mike Tyson ear bite was that was boxing, though, wasn't it?
That was boxing, yeah.
Kickbox or just regular boxing?
Just boxing.
Just throw a box.
I don't know if Mike Tyson would have been so good with martial arts kicks in the mix, but I don't know. He probably would have been a beast anyway.
And there were rules back then, like don't bite people's ears off, right?
I mean, boxing's always had a good amount of rules.
More rules than MMA. Was MMA just newer than boxing? Is that what it is?
There's just different, like...
MMA just combined.
There's just different companies that have MMA fights, so, like, they'll have different rules. Like the One Championship, which is the huge Asian... I think it's Asian, like, I guess, variant of MMA. They do a lot of other fighting styles, but they're the biggest competitor of the UFC right now. And they have different rules, like they ban weight cutting because people keep dying from dehydration from cutting weight in those fighting sports. Like if you ever watch the UFC weigh-ins, a lot of people come up and they're just absolutely desiccated. They don't look like human beings anymore. They look like they've been mummified. It's kind of crazy. It's incredibly unhealthy.
Yeah, my dad likes those techniques. So he has a favorite kickboxer, and it's I think he might be Filipino or Thai, but
Filipino,
and how this guy boxed so hard was he kicked trees. Apparently, at least that's what he told people. So my dad comes to this very park where we are and kicks trees.
That is what.
Oh, that's him?
That is what a lot of people, especially I think some of the Vietnamese martial artists do that a lot. Yeah, shin conditioning is really important because if you're taking leg kicks, I mean, it's basically equivalent to getting smacked by a baseball bat as hard as they possibly can right in the leg. They can kick so hard, you have to condition your bones or else they will snap, like Conor McGregor's did.
Yeah, have you seen the Anderson Silva clip? He kicks some dude and his leg just wraps
around him.
And then he's like, oh, I'm done.
The leg wraps around him? Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty
I mean, they get hurt from kicking people too.
Yeah.
It's those legs.
Like, especially just on the shin, it's like very tough.
Yeah, it just like deadens your foot. You don't have any power in your punches if they hit that lead leg. But
also a good, solid kick to someone, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Unground them.
Boxing is super fun, though. I highly recommend it.
You joined a boxing club. That's fun.
I did not.
Okay.
I started Fight Club outside of the university I was at, though.
Nice.
Just, putting on the mitts, socking honkies. It's pretty fun.
Can I join that? Or is it over?
When I'm back in school, sure.
Oh.
I didn't do that. I wasn't with him. It was just him. He said it's fun, but I don't like being hit.
No, I didn't like it either. That's why I didn't do it so much. Yeah, I have other hobbies, so I don't really need to get CTE and hit in the face over and over.
Yeah.
That's not really what I'm in this life for. If boxing is your life, then it's worth getting hit in the face over and over. But for me, it's not. So I don't do it too much.
Yeah, boxing is bad. You get hit in the back of the head too many times. It's no good.
Yeah. Well, I think we'll wrap this up soon because we've hit the time. Orion, thank you for taking time out of your busy day to sit down and talk about psychedelics, fighting in medieval battles, boxing, and dreams.
Thank you for letting me out of your basement into this nice summer day so that I can record this before I go back in inevitably and cry a little bit more.
Yeah, and you're not getting fed today either.
Man.
All right.
Maybe one of the viewers might buy you a Hot Pocket.
Can I have some water?
Nah.
Damn it.
That was, you know this on Tuesdays. All right. I will see you. And we will see you on the flip side, mofos.
Bye, cuties.
Why are you still here? Video's over, silly. Leave.